Hey, it's your favorite guy from YouTube, Chris Palmer, and I want to talk about Martin Luther King, and then I want to talk about all the troops that's been sent to Washington, and that's my two talking points today. Happy birthday to Martin Luther King, and a lot of y'all probably don't know that Martin Luther King was a Republican. He didn't believe in the Democratic Party, and he didn't believe in the way the Democratic Party done stuff, because they were the founders of the Ku Klux Klan. They founded the Ku Klux Klan, and they kept it going all these years and stuff. And a lot of people don't understand. They want authoritarian rule under the guidelines of stuff. And that was exactly what Martin Luther King was against violence against black people, white people, everybody. That was what he was against. And when people call him a troublemaker, he actually wasn't a troublemaker. He did rallies just like Trump did, and he made speeches, and then bad apples would go and they would do things in his name and make him look like a troublemaker to everybody else, which is the wrong thing to do. That would be like Martin Luther King making a speech and them going and doing the Capitol like Trump did. And Martin Luther King, he believed in America first. He believed in fixing the problems that America had. And that was the whole point in Martin Luther King's saying, to get civil rights for everybody, and even the black people, and mostly the black people, because of the way they'd been treated under the Jim Crow laws, which the Democrats put into play. And that's why he was a Republican. And a lot of people assumed that he was a Democrat, but he wasn't. He was a Republican. He believed the same way that all the rest of us believe, that the Democrats were bad and had bad intentions, and that's why he was a Republican. And we celebrated him yesterday. I wasn't able to do the video yesterday. I was training horses I was helping my cousin train horses. So I'm doing it today so everybody can see it and look at it and listen. But he did a lot of good things for America, Martin Luther King did. And but it's just like the Trump rally. Every place has a bunch of bad apples. And those bad apples, unfortunately, are the reason why it looks so bad when things go wrong. Instead of a peaceful protest like Martin Luther King wanted, a lot of his protests ended up in violence. And it wasn't because of him, it was because of the bad apples that was there at his protest. So you can't blame the person that tells and preaches for equal rights and stuff like that and America first for what a few bad apples do. I mean, you just can't. And that's all I gotta do. Kudos to Martin Luther King. He was a good man. He just, a lot of people put him in a bad light because of the violence that came from some of the speeches and stuff he gave, that the bad apples caused the violence, not Martin Luther King. He spoke of love, forgiveness, and rights for black people. That's what he did. And he was a Republican because he knew that the Democrats started the KKK, put them under Jim Crow laws and everything else. So, moving on to the troops that are in the Capitol. The troops that are in the Capitol, we have 25,000 troops in the Capitol. And it's supposed to go to 30,000 troops in the Capitol. And one National Guard sergeant or captain, I can't remember which one, from Puerto Rico told his troops that they were there to stop people like the Proud Boys and people like that that were quote American terrorists. And let me define what they're calling American terrorists. They're calling anybody, any white person from the age of 16 up to whatever age, American terrorists. They are saying we're white supremacists and everything else. And I mean, if you knew some of my best friends are black. And they can tell you right now that I'm no American terrorist. And it really perturbs me that they group people into this category. And it's like we're regressing back to the Jim Crow laws and all of that, which Martin Luther King fought against. But the only thing different about it is it's white people that voted for Trump is the one that they're going after. Because they're so scared that President Trump will come back in 2024 and have a Republican Congress, a Republican Senate, and him being a Republican president. And that's what they're afraid of. But back to the troops, they told them that they may have to shoot some of us white supremacists that would be at the Capitol. And that means you black Trump supporters too. If you get out of line or unruly, they will shoot you too. So you need to think about this. What they're showing is we have all the guns, we have all the people, and we will make you submit. That is tyranny at its best. I mean, for Christ's sakes, they built a chain link fence around the Capitol, from what I could see, and chain link fences around everything, and barbed wire, razor wire around the top of those fences. And that's to keep us white supremacists that we're labeled and under, and Nazis or whatever you want to call it. And it don't matter if you're black or white. These people call you Nazis and white supremacist sympathizers if you're black. If you're for Trump and you're black, then you're a white supremacist sympathizer. And to me, it sounds like a bad joke. But to these people, this is the gospel. I mean, there's congressmen. There was a congressman from Memphis that said that we would have to show force and shoot some of these people. And these people are good, God-fearing people that believe that Trump should have won the election and that they're getting screwed by the government. And when you take and you put more troops in our nation's capital than you have in Afghanistan and Iraq combined, there's something wrong. I mean, to me, it seems to me that there's going to be a bad situation happen on that day. There's going to be they've talked to these National Guard people, and they've got them scared that there's going to be a shit ton of violence. So be careful if you go to the Capitol for the inauguration, because they're going to be trigger happy. They're going to be nervous. I mean, somebody might go up and try to tell them that, you know, they appreciate their service, and they might get shot for it. I mean, you don't know how people are going to react in a situation when you've repeatedly told them that there is going to be violence everywhere by white supremacists. So at that point in time, they're thinking, oh shit, all these people are white supremacists coming up here, bad people, and we're going to have to defend ourselves against these people and defend the Capitol. And that is not the case at all. When the protest happened in the Capitol, it happened before Trump even gave his speech. That's the thing about it. That's why they're trying to impeach Trump, so that he won't be able to hold office again. That's their biggest fear, is a man that don't need the money, that's already rich, and don't need the money, and don't have to listen to the lobbyists and stuff like that. They want it to go back where they're getting paid by the lobbyists to vote certain ways and stuff like that. And that is what got this country in the way it was. The last time a Democratic president was in service was Barack Obama. And you can see how bad it got. We got into depression there. And people lost their jobs. Plants shut down. They moved to China. And so it was cheaper labor. And China, that's what China wants. China wants more American companies over there, because once they get over there, they tax them and make them sign a thing saying they'll stay over there for however long they have to stay over there. And then whenever they do decide to leave, they keep the building and all the tools that they brought over, all the machines and stuff like that. And then they start making their own stuff. But when what the Democrats have done with bringing all these troops into the nation's capital is they have created a volatile situation. They have created a situation where you have young men that's in the National Guard that some of them have never been in combat before. Some of them are scared because they're afraid that, you know, this mob of people that the Democrats are talking about, white supremacists and Nazis and everything like that, are going to come and attack them. And that makes them have itchy trigger fingers. That makes them shoot first and ask questions later. And that's not the mindset that they need to have. The mindset they need to have is they're just exercising their freedom of speech rights and their right to protest against this regime that's coming in. And when I say regime, the only other people that I've seen that's brought military to swearing in is, let's see, Stalin, Hitler, the Chinese dictator that started the communist regime in China, and some of the Lenin, one of the other Russian presidents. They all had the military force there showing that if you don't do what we say, we will send armed men to your place and take it over. That's the whole thing about it. That they could have went about this a whole different way. They could have did it the same way we've done it every year, And the thing about Republicans is we go ahead, and if the Democrats get voted in, we sat and we waited out until the next election, and then we vote and we try to get them out of there. That's why we gained seats in the Senate, or not in the Senate, but in the Congress. And we lost a couple seats in the Senate. And the hope of the American people was that we would keep the Senate. That way we would have some way of blocking all these crazy ideals and stuff that these laws that they're trying to pass. But it didn't work out that way. They got the majority on all of it. To get them to stop the crazy things, we would have to get Democrats to vote Republican on the bill. And that's very unlikely to happen. And when you got people that are telling our National Guard that they're going to have to shoot Americans, that is not how it should be. It should be, be on guard, but, this could happen. If it does, you're allowed to shoot, but if not, you're not allowed to do anything. I mean, the military creed is you don't shoot unless being shot at. So, I'm wondering how many of these guardsmen, these young men that we've got up there, are gonna shoot first and ask questions later. I'm worried that it's gonna be a bad, violent thing that goes on January 20th. And for all you people, I take offense to being called a racist or white supremacist, because I have black friends, Mexican friends. I have all sorts of different friends that I have, and they feel about the same way I do. They support Trump, and they think supposedly the election was stolen from us, and they're mad about it. But it's like the Republicans do. We ride that out, and we wait till the next one, and then we vote them out instead of trying to do a non-military coup like what happened to us this past year. So, for all you Guard members that might see my channel up there, please refrain from any sort of violence and shooting American people. That is un-American in the most extreme way. So, happy birthday to Martin Luther King, belated birthday, because I wasn't able to do my little show. And please restrain. Show our government that you're not there just to shoot American people. Show them that you're not there just to be under their command. Because when you're a military and you're under the command of these people, that is not an American way. That is a regime that, like Saddam Hussein, he had a regime. And that's the way that was. He had guards, and he'd have people executed in the damn streets. And we're America. We're free. We're the home of the brave. Don't let them take your American pride away from you by getting you to do things that are illegal. I mean, there's no time in the history that this has ever happened. Even when they had the riots up in D.C. and they burnt the buildings and stuff, and it was like a damn war zone, they didn't call in that many National Guard as they have up there today. So please, to you young guardsmen and you older guardsmen which know better and know America is not like this, please talk to your troops, tell them, keep them in line, make sure that they're not nervous, make sure that they don't do something that they'll regret later on in their career. The Democrats are trying to show power by having yuns up there and saying, if you don't listen to me, this is what's going to happen. But please, just stay under control, keep an even temper, and people are going to be mad when they're up there because they think that supposedly the election was stolen from them, so they're going to be mad about it. But show restraint. Don't fire unless you're fired upon with a weapon. If they come at you with a knife or something like that, you know just as well as I do, you can defend yourself against a normal human being by taking him down and using a bunch of troops to take him down, put him on his knees, zip tie him, and then push him on back past the front line. And then they can detain him and question him. But just please don't try to keep the violence from happening. That's what the Democrats want to happen. They want the Trump supporters to do something stupid, and that way they can say that all Trump supporters are extreme white supremacists. And if you think about it, they're talking about you Guard members too. Anybody from the age of 16 on up, right now, they're calling white supremacists and white insurrectionists, and that's not how it is. I mean, you're innocent until proven guilty in this country. But the Democratic way is you're guilty until you can prove that you're not that. And that's my thought of the day. You're innocent until proven guilty, not guilty until proven innocent. Think about that, and please try not to feed into the frenzy of the excitement of being there and having a mob, or not a mob, but protesters around you that are provoking you. Be strict like military code, hold your ground, and please refrain from the violence. That's all I'm asking. And happy birthday, Martin Luther King, belated birthday. I meant to do this video yesterday, and just remember, all you guardsmen, he was a Republican, not a Democrat. He didn't believe in this system of them wanting absolute power, because absolute power absolutely corrupts. I mean, it's been a saying for a long time, and it's completely true. And now that they have absolute power all through the three chambers, they're going to try to get Trump, because they're already talking about re-education camps and putting parents in jail, putting kids in re-education camps and stuff like that to the Democratic way. And that's not how we do things in the United States. That's how Hitler did things. He had re-education camps. The Hitler Youth. Stalin had re-education camps. The Chinese communist leader, started the whole communism thing in China. He had the same thing. But just refrain. Don't let our government go into a socialist regime. Because when you took that oath, you swore to protect our country against foreign and domestic threats. And there's a lot of people in Congress that have did more damage to this country than some of the terrorists in Guantanamo Bay. And most of them are Democrats. So, just think about that for today. And this is Chris Palmer. I'm signing out, and I'll do a video tomorrow. We'll see y'all. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And I'll do another video tomorrow. See y'all.